Hi everyone, the last Shoegazer here with a movie review of 1989's Moonchild, a film by Auguste Villarona. This is a Cult Epics limited edition release. I own number 165 out of 500. It came with this really nice slipcase, a 2-disc release of DVD and Blu-ray, and then a really cool card as well. That has a shot from the movie and some really cool artwork on the other side. I watched the Blu-ray of this, and I would say that it's one of the most visually stunning films that I've seen in a long time. The transfer was gorgeous, very beautiful, stark coloration, the use of moonlight and shadow, just breathtaking at times. So if you're kind of curious what this film is kind of all about, it's very kind of space celestial related. Has a tone of the prophecy of the coming of the Moonchild. It very much parallels the coming of the Christ child, in my opinion. But it definitely sets itself apart from that and becomes almost more of a, I wouldn't say science fiction film, but it's kind of along those lines. It's definitely not a horror film. While there's some unsettling moments and vibes that might start to feel a little bit like a thriller or a suspenseful kind of horror film, it doesn't go into that territory at all. It's very much a sweeping epic story. It's kind of a long movie, but I watched it all in one sitting. I've been wanting to watch this for a while now. I got this a couple of weeks ago and showed it on my channel. But I finally got some silence and a good amount of time to take this in one sitting and really digest it. And it's a Spanish film, so there's English subtitles that need to be read throughout. But that doesn't take away from the experience. But it does demand a little bit more of attention to understand what's going on and to fully enjoy the film. To kind of put this in further perspective here, in my opinion, it looks a lot like a Stanley Kubrick film, especially in the first half, the atmosphere, the setting, just some of the different shots. I wouldn't say the music, the score here by this guy, I'm not sure how he pronounces that. It looks like Dead Can Dance. So really beautiful music, and the soundtrack really adds to the overall film. But that's where it kind of differs from like a Kubrick film. But visually, the camera work is quite similar. The setting is kind of reminiscent of something from a Kubrick film, and it almost not only parallels the story of the prophecy of the Christ child, but also kind of an X-Men sort of vibe. If you watch this, you'll know what I'm talking about, but definitely not in that light, not in a superhero manner, but we're definitely talking about some telekinetic supernatural abilities here that are being studied, and it definitely goes the whole way throughout the movie with these different powers at play, and the influence and the power of the moon influencing the Moonchild, David. Just excellent acting all around, beautiful, stunning film. You really build empathy for the characters. This child, you would think that other characters would be trying to kind of help him to see that he's the moon child, but it kind of goes the other way around. He's trying to fulfill his own prophecy and get others to see. I wouldn't say like outrightly that he's the moon child who's been prophesized, but kind of secretively trying to figure things out and understand all of this on his own. But as the pieces kind of come together and he picks up on certain things that are said at the organization that kind of pulls him in and it adopts him from his orphanage. This place is called the Center, and that's where other kids like him are, and that's kind of where you get the X-Men kind of feel. There's even one of the directors is in a wheelchair, much like Dr. Xavier. He's kind of a weird character, but there's also kind of his right hand person who's also kind of in charge. She's a very creepy kind of character, kind of more just out for fulfilling the prophecy, and then just sort of ditching everybody else. You'll see what I mean if you check this out, but it's a pretty heavy story overall. But then towards the second half of the film, you kind of go off the grid a little bit. It carries into Africa and almost starts to play a lot like an Indiana Jones film. Not with that sense of fun adventure that you get in a lot of the Indiana Jones films, but it has that kind of vibe to it, and you feel like you could easily be watching an Indiana Jones flick, which I love. So it took me from a chilling, visually stunning, kind of cold Stanley Kubrick kind of atmosphere, with this really heavy story building, a lot of darkness, but the high contrast of the use of moonlight, just really, really awesome setting inside the Center, and then just the moving to more of an adventurous kind of feeling, which was really, really cool. And then it all kind of culminating at the end in a really epic, fulfilling way. So I would highly, highly recommend this, even to horror fans. I'm really glad that I found this and picked this up from Cult Epics. I'm not sure if they have the limited numbered edition available anymore. They might be out of that since they only did a run of 500. And I had, 165 marked on my slipcase. But, check that out. I would easily give this a 9 out of 10. I would go back and watch this again and want to get lost in this story, all over again. Just a really, really riveting, beautiful, beautiful story. So anyway, that does it for me, guys. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this yet, if you picked this up whenever they released this, if you have the limited edition or a different edition of this. I'm not sure what previous releases this Moonchild has seen, whether it came out on DVD or an earlier Blu-ray release. I'm not sure, but I'm always kind of curious about different editions of movies that you might have in your collection. But yeah, definitely check out Moonchild. Get ready for a very sweeping, engaging, riveting story that's just absolutely beautiful and stunning throughout. And here is the card. I'm not going to show the back of it. There is some stuff there I don't want on camera, but this is the card. El Niño de la Luna. Moonchild, Child of the Moon, Cult Epics. But yeah, remember, you have the power of the moon in your eyes.